Hi, I was
Fantastic.
just saying, this is the first time that I've invited someone to live. I actually had to Google, how do I do this? How do I invite someone to live?
I know.
Newbie.
Well, hey, I'm the first one. I'm so glad. And it's not complicated too, right? I saw something that says ask to be live, ask to join.
Yeah, it's really not complicated. I just didn't want to be like coming on the live and being like, how do I do this? How do I do
Yeah,
this?
we spent the entire 15 minutes trying to figure it out. It's like, you Google it, I'll Google it too, and we'll figure out what to do.
Well, Lee, I'm so glad you're joining me today. And first of all, I think it was really cute how we actually met, as you being one of my listeners, and now you've been a huge part of the show as well. So it's just been amazing. Do you want to
Yes.
tell everyone how we actually met? Because I thought that was quite cute.
Oh yeah, so I've been a listener of the show, and I don't remember how I even found your show, but I thought, wow, this is interesting. It's all about people and connections, and I was so intrigued by that. And so I wanted to follow you on Instagram, and I followed you, and then I reached out to you. I was like, why not? And it just worked out. I could share my story with you, and you were so receptive. And so I was like, oh my goodness, this is great because I get to talk to you, who gets to talk to so many interesting people on your podcast.
It's amazing, isn't it? I think the first time I met you was when you attended my live Q&A at the end of, I think it was the end of the last season. So that was season three.
And you were talking
Yeah,
about emotions, and that was
yeah.
something that just really resonated with me. So I was like, oh, what is she going to say? How is it going to be? And uh, that was like one of my very first lives because I was just like getting used to being on Instagram.
Okay, yeah, yeah. It's interesting. I've been learning a lot about Instagram recently as well. It's a learning curve, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Then I just felt that you were so engaging and authentic that I could actually jump in the live and ask a question. I felt very
Oh,
comfortable doing that. Yeah.
great. I'm glad to hear that. I want to encourage people to reach out and to just, let me know who is listening. It's funny because when you start a podcast at the beginning, you kind of know exactly who's listened to your episode. Like when a download goes up, you know exactly who downloaded that one. But as you go on, the numbers start going up, and you're like, I don't even know who's listening anymore. So I really love to meet people who are listening that I don't even know they out there. I don't even know who they are. And just get a sense of that. So I would love to ask you, do you remember which was the first episode that you listened to?
Well, it was all about was kind of a longish interview that you had with um, a CBD practitioner, CBT
Ah,
practitioner.
Sarah. Oh, that was a
Yes.
great one.
hmm Yeah, and I resonate with all that stuff, because I learned a lot of that in my own counseling, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And there's more people out there who subscribe to this idea, and I was like, well, and then more people are hearing about it too through the podcast. So I thought, well, that's really great. That's really interesting. I think I
Yeah,
also saw a video also on LinkedIn or something like that.
yeah, I do random videos
Yeah.
all over the place. Yeah. Amazing. Sarah was amazing. What she brought to the show was just such gold and such value.
Hmm.
So I'm glad you came in on that episode.
Yeah, the right time for it.
Yeah, at the right time, definitely. And now in the current season, we've been covering so much of goal setting and goals. And have you been keeping up with this season?
I have. I started well, I would like to share like what some of my favorite moments are about the
Go
season.
for it.
I really was interested in the being chased by a bear. So that was really something that was kind of eye-opening to me and then her experience with it. So she was talking about like I don't want to give away what happened. Well, she's alive because she's talking about it, but I thought it's a very important story about how to get yourself motivated. And so, I felt like there's a lot of things that, this year has gone by, and there's a lot of things that I could have done, should have done, would have done, but, with someone telling you that there's something bigger, like motivating you like that. I don't have a bear chasing me to get things done, but I kind of do, and I appreciated that. I appreciated that her insight from it.
Yeah, metaphorical bears, right? I think we have them at like every point in our lives. It just maybe they look different all the time.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think when I was interviewing her, I was like really trying to imagine what that must actually be like, the fear that must, you must actually feel in that moment to actually be chased by a bear or any wild animal for that instant. I mean, for me, it's just something as much as being chased by a dog is scary,
Yes, yes, absolutely. I was just thinking about the little uh well, I forget what they're called. For not some reason I'm blanking on it. The Chihuahuas because they're so little and mean. But
Chihuahua.
yeah, and they're intimidating. But holy moly, like a giant bear to just be able to like take care of it.
Yeah, no, for sure. That was a great episode. Yeah, it was kind of funny how I found that actually. I didn't even know that her story was being chased by a bear.
Oh, really?
I found that out when I was researching her after she agreed to be on the show, and I was like, oh wow, she has a great story here.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great story. And you know something else I liked. There was another episode that I liked about coming out. So the two
Mm,
coaches they were talking about the coming out, and so I belong to the queer community as well. So it was kind of refreshing to hear about the idea of being coached to come out, like not
I
just for
know.
everyone. Yeah, not just for like coming out of your shell, but like for LGBTQIA people coming out of the
Hmm.
closet and being comfortable and safe with who you are. And then I thought, well, that's great. I mean, there was nothing like that for when I was little or I was younger. So, yeah,
Yeah, I guess like Vanessa goes really deep into that episode of her own coming out journey, and that was I'm sure a lot of people could relate to her story as well.
hmm yeah, so many people can relate to that. And yeah, the idea of being specifically supported in that means a whole lot to me.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's great. Like you said, I'm glad that I got to represent them as well. It's really great to see what they're doing, and they are such amazing ladies, the sweetest ladies ever. Like just connecting with them, and they genuinely very caring people. It was just amazing working with them. And I love that. I love making those connections. I guess Lee, because you've now been on my show a few times. I just love connecting with people and maintaining that network and that connection. Is just super important, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we all need to be connected in some way, and especially at this time, it's it's not cliche, 'cause even though I'm going to say it as many times as we've heard it before because of the coronavirus, it's not cliche to want to connect with people. I mean, it's just natural, and I think this space has facilitated that quite nicely.
Hmm. Yeah, no, definitely it has. I know for me personally, lockdown has really been getting to me. It's just been so long, and so like we're getting into like a bit stricter in the UK where there's like nowhere to go and nothing to do. And I've literally just been myself and my husband for the last few months, and I'm just going a bit crazy at the moment.
Well, what about the bear back there? Hey, bear.
Oh
What?
yeah, my big bear. Yeah, it's him too. He watches me work. I also have a creepy doll. Let me show you. She watches me work as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow, that
I
is.
do have some company.
They're always
Don't talk
watching
to
you.
them.
What's that?
I don't talk to them. Maybe I should start talking to them.
I might worry if you start talking to them.
I'm gonna give them names now. Like
Give
they're going
them.
to be my friends, my lockdown friends.
Oh, that's hilarious. It's like let
So
me
Lee,
out.
I don't want to get like maybe you could tell us a little bit, but you've already been on the podcast this season and you've shared your experience of 2020. Maybe you want to give us a little teaser So if people want to hear more about your experience of 2020, they can go and check your podcast. I think, though, in our episode, we kind of drifted away from the main topic, didn't we?
Yes, we were meant to talk about being an Oreo.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yes, we
But we will
did.
get to that. We will get to that. I love that. I love that concept that well, I love the way you turn that around on your own episode. And you're like, we are not cookies, we are people.
We are people, yes, definitely. And I wonder also, since that episode has come out, and there might be other things that people are called, like say Oreo is, well, a black person who's white inside. So I wonder if other people out there, anyone out there who has heard of something else that might be reflected in
Yeah.
other races. Yeah. I
There's
mean,
many terms. I know, gosh, there's one there's one that they use in the brown in the Indian community, but I'm blanking on it right now. I know there's something that's like really bad,
uh-oh.
but when we used to go to a wedding, and one of the so it's like a very fair Indian and a very dark Indian getting married to each other, they would say that it's a top deck wedding. And top deck is a chocolate in South Africa that's made with brown chocolate and white chocolate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they like within the Indian community in South Africa, they place a lot of value on someone being very fair, like being brown but very fair. Apparently, that's supposed to be more beautiful.
Hmm.
And yeah, the darker you are, the less beautiful you are, apparently.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely something that's relatable here in the US, but for
Mm.
black people, it's just actually all over.
Mm.
That's a thing. But I know that, it's been colorism has been a thing here in the US that we've been addressing a bit. So that might be something interesting to talk about.
It would be, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely going to cover that topic in a coming up theme. The next two themes are already sorted, and we're quite looking forward to that. We're gonna I've already recorded one with you, right? We're going to be talking
Yeah.
about sex in the next theme. And I know, I'm so excited. Like, whatever I've recorded so far has been so fun and so relevant and so much just needed to be spoken about. So
Hmm.
I cannot wait for that. And then the season after that, I'm covering the black sheep and the white sheep of the family.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm actually trying to get my husband to come on an episode with me in that season because I want to do an episode about the black sheep married the white sheep. That's basically my husband and me.
Oh, really? So you're the black sheep?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
Good guess.
this is really interesting. Yeah, that would be awesome. And how is it going? If he doesn't decide to, you sick your friends on him, tell him the bear's gonna get him, the creepy doll's gonna get him.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, now that I've put the message out there to everyone that I'm trying to get Dan on the show, I'm trying to get him, so you can all go and find my husband and tell him he has to be on the show now.
You have to be on the show. That,
Yeah, motivate him. That's still a bit in advance, but yeah, I'm definitely going to be covering like cultural diversity because it is something it is a project I'm working on in my spare time as well. There's some communication courses that I'm working on that have to do with culture and diversity, but also I guess the more I spoke to people, the more I'm realizing that people don't even know basic communication barriers and what they are, to
hmm,
yet alone to link those barriers to that of culture and diversity. So I feel like we have to actually go all the way back to our own communication habits and recognizing them, and then go into applying them to how does this go and affect culture and diversity, and oh, why are we not recognizing what we are doing or what we are not doing when it
hmm.
comes to communicating to people who are different. So I found that there's just like going way back to basics is where it needs to start. We've thrown around terms a lot, like, for example, I didn't even know what microaggression was. Like, I had no idea. Do you
Hmm.
know?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Microaggression. Yeah,
better than
it's
me then. I only found out what microaggression was like a year or so ago. And that was like when I just met a friend who she works in culture and diversity within her job, her day job. So she knows like a lot of these stuff, and she's a
oh,
woman of color as well. And there was a few times I complained to her about things that people were saying to me that I thought were ignorant. And like I'm a very forgiving person, so I'd be like, oh, maybe they just don't know, maybe
Hmm.
this. And she's like, bitch, that's microaggression. I'm like, what's that?
There's a reason why you're feeling that way, and here's why. Here's all these things.
I was like, I'm like, what's that? And then she's like, then she explained to me what it is, and I started researching about it, and I was like, there's all these terms out there, and people know what it means, but we don't even know our own communication habits to know that we are doing these things,
Hmm.
and that we are because I mean, I could be doing them to, like, say for example, someone in the LGBTQ community, I could be doing microaggressions to them without even knowing it because I maybe
Exactly.
I don't know my own communication habits.
Hmm.
So it's like
Exactly.
really being aware of ourselves, and that's something I'm working on in the background.
Well, that sounds really awesome. I mean, that definitely coincides with like talking to other people, being connected with them and trying to understand how you can do it better so that you're not like unconsciously pushing them away. You don't want to do
Exactly,
that.
and that's what
Yeah,
it is. It's usually very unconscious. People don't know that they're doing it, and that's not that shouldn't be an excuse. We need to find out. We need to discover. We need to ask questions, and we need to actually become aware of our habits. And I think now's the time to start doing that. Um,
absolutely. Absolutely. Hold ourselves accountable for being open and honest and connecting with these people. And
accountable.
I, yeah, accountable. And I wonder too about like how is that going? I'm really curious about that. That piques my interest because I belong to the LGBT community. I'm also a black person,
Yeah.
so I wonder how it is because I've had my own experiences with people, and I didn't know I was being also doing the microaggression as well. I didn't
Yeah.
know that that was happening, and people have called me out rather than called me in. They would say you're bad, you did a bad thing, and I'm like, I don't know what I did. What did I do? And I realized that I have to learn myself, but
Mhm.
also it would be great if you could just help me out a bit. Like I don't mean any malice, but I also would, like you to just if you're not going to if you don't have the energy to help me understand, then please don't help me feel shame. That's
Mm.
kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I've been getting that a lot from the marketing calls I've been getting as well. So, well, yeah, like, if you're really interested in the work, I could definitely jump on a marketing call with you, and we can dig deeper into it, and you could help me collect more data for my course. But
Oh, sure. That would be great. Be
yeah.
wonderful.
So yeah, and anyone else out there, if you guys want to get involved in this project, if you want to set up a marketing call, it's not a marketing call, it's a market research call. I'm not going to be trying to sell you anything. Just trying to collect data for my own research purposes. I've been doing quite a few whenever I guess I put them on hold for a while because there's just been a lot going on with wrapping up this season of the podcast.
Yes.
And I do have a day job.
And that thing that you use to pay the bills, that
I
thing.
know that thing I need to pay bills.
Yeah. So when is the next season coming out?
Good question. So the next season is due to come out, I think it's mid-March. I'll have to just check the exact date, but it's aimed for mid-March. Yeah.
Fantastic. It's going to
Yeah,
be
I'm
great.
trying. Yeah, we're doing like a 2 week kind of like a marketing space, giving people a break to catch up with the past episodes, creating conversations online like this about the current season,
Hmm.
and then we will jump into this next season, season 5.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I also noticed it seems like you're sharing more of you and your thoughts. I've seen that more on Instagram, like you're posting about some of the thoughts that you have about the episodes, about yourself and reflections. And wow, that's really awesome. Like we get to
Yeah.
see who's behind the mic.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's important to connect with the voice behind the mic. So, you're just getting a sense of the human. I guess that's my brand, refreshingly human, and I am a human. Yeah, get connected with me as well. And I love connecting with people. I cannot stress how much I would love people to just come out and say who they are, and jump on calls like this with me. It's amazing to just see why people are listening, what they love about the show. So maybe you could leave us with that, Lee, a little bit of what drew you onto the show and what's keeping you around.
What drew me to the show was just the idea of it's okay just to be yourself, and that people are having experiences that are similar to yours, and you just don't know it. You're not alone in the world in any way, and there's no shame in the experiences that you have. In fact, someone else is going to tell you about an experience that's just like them, and they're going to be just fine. They're going to tell you what they learned from them. So that's what I liked about it. I'm listening up to it. I thought, I grabbed on the emotional part of the episode, and then I just kept going because the stories are about people like me. But yeah,
That's amazing. I love that. It's like kind of want to make me cry a little bit because that's exactly like my aim when I started this podcast is just to just be refreshingly honest and open about the human experience. That's what it's about. Um, from my own personal experience and many people I've spoken to who grew up in our decade, basically in our, yeah, they a lot of us feel that growing up we were always told how we should feel, how we shouldn't feel. And, a lot of our human emotions might have been suppressed. And
hmm
that's why I wanted to create the space. Like, it's okay to just be human, and have these human emotions, have these human experiences, and just be open about them as much as you can. And that's something I speak to all of my guests before coming on the show is that this is a honest and open space. And I would love you to bring that energy to the show.
yeah, yeah. And as you're saying this, I was just thinking about another episode that you had where you had people actually call in. I think this was during a break between the seasons. You had people call in and share their thoughts about how the episode had helped them. I thought that
Yeah.
was great.
Did I? I can't remember that.
Well, I do. I do. This was like, well, this is like the first season that I was listening to and I was keeping up
Okay.
with it. And I think it was towards the end of last year as a celebration, something like that of it.
Okay.
But anyway, I
I
remember
need to
it and
remember that because that sounds like a really good marketing plan. I should do that again.
yeah, I mean, I when I listened to it, I thought, well, wow, there are people who, again, like aside from the people who are behind the mic, I get another opportunity to understand who's listening. And again, there's more people who reflect who I am.
Mm, exactly. It's
Hmm.
such a wide world out there. There's so much that connects us.
Yes, yes, definitely. And thank you for the podcast. It really does feel connecting and engaging.
Amazing. Thanks, Lee. And Lee, do you want to tell us a little bit about your own podcast, The Patterns of Possibility? I always love that name. It's just I
Well,
love how it connects with your own background as well of being an analyst, right?
yes, absolutely. Yeah, so there's a bunch of patterns that I realized in my life, and as an analyst, it was just really easy to make sense of them. So when I saw like there were patterns that I weren't aware of, I had to become aware of. I realized that I could use them to change my life, and I wanted to tell everybody about it. So I created a podcast that shares my stories and my adventures and what I've learned about them. It's Patterns of Possibility. Sometimes I tell a story, and also I interview people. So it's really fun and interesting. I like to have a lot of fun on my podcast.
You do, definitely. And I have to just add, like, Lee and I are both part of Toastmasters, which is a public speaking group. So
Yes,
I'm the one, I'm in all the way in Manchester, and you are in.
I belong to a few clubs because of COVID, so I'm able to get to here, there, and everywhere. I
Nice.
belong. Yeah, so I'm in three in Chicagoland, and then there's one in California that I belong to.
Wow. And yeah, and being part of Toastmasters, I think that really makes your storytelling abilities a lot more smoother. So, like, when I listened to your podcast, I could really tell that you had the skill of storytelling behind you.
Yeah, thank
And
you,
I
thank you.
definitely think, yeah, I definitely think a platform like Toastmasters is worth investing in if anyone out there wants to, like, just become better at public speaking or storytelling or whatever. It's just an amazing platform to grow your confidence. I know for me, it really made me believe that people actually want to listen to what I'm saying.
Yes, yes. I would say that is a huge part of why I even started the podcast is because, for a long time, like you just said a moment ago, like I felt like my feelings suppressed, and no one wanted to hear what I had to say. And then I get the Toastmasters, they clap for everything, everything.
Cheerleaders.
Cheerleaders, you cannot do anything wrong. It's so great. They help you find some encouragement
They
and
do.
some,
It's amazing.
yeah, it's really awesome. So I'm really glad to hear that you're part of Toastmasters too. Um, have you thought about competing in any
I did
competitions?
compete once in a humorous speech contest. Made a bit of a fool of myself by dressing up in costume.
What? What? That's amazing.
Yeah, but yeah, I would compete again. Sure, there is a competition this week, but I'm just taking part as a judge or something. I just didn't have the time to
It
invest
takes
in
time.
competing. Yeah, right
Wait,
now.
what do you mean you don't have time with all the things you're doing with like you've
I
got their podcast and you're working and then you're
should have
doing marketing
plenty of
and then
time.
you had a husband. You don't have time for Toastmasters and your
I
regular
have to have.
meetings that you have to prepare for. Like,
There's also allocated time for Netflix and PlayStation.
you need
Don't
those
forget.
two things. Yes.
Yeah, necessities.
So you play PlayStation though?
It's Last of Us 2. I'm obsessed with it right now.
Oh wow. Holy
I love
moly.
it so much. I'm so into it. Yeah.
I haven't played PlayStation in a while because I am sure that I will forget about the world. I'm not as responsible as you, and I will just play.
I never had one for a long time, and then my husband bought me one for Christmas a few years ago. And especially because I was dying to play The Last of Us, and it's only on PlayStation. So he bought PlayStation for me and of course The Last of Us with it. And I opened it like immediately out of the box and just connected it to his parents' TV because we were at his parents for Christmas.
Wow.
Just started playing like immediately.
Wow, that's a really great husband.
I know, he's awesome. Yeah, he got me Last of Us 2 for my birthday this year.
Oh wow, awesome. So Last of Us is a
Zombie
zombie
killing.
game? It
Yeah,
sounds like a zombie game.
it's
Yeah,
a
okay.
zombie game. It's awesome because I just love like I love games that are realistic and that kind of like just take you into the world. And I feel like The Last of Us does that so well because it just brings you into this post-apocalyptic world. It's so real. And then they also have the emotional aspects of it that are just so engaging as well. But of course, it's
Hmm.
a very stressful game because you have to kill a lot of people and a lot of zombies. It's quite stressful.
It, it sounds like it's stressful and wow.
Anyway, we always do this. We drift way off topic with you and me.
Yeah, I am just like I'm so enthralled. I kind of want to dive into that and be like, wow, you are a human person who is cool with playing zombie games. There's like so many dimensions to us as people.
Exactly. I love that. It's the kind of what I'm trying to portray next on my one of the underlining things I'm trying to portray on social media is that we don't have to be one type of person, you know. I feel like I don't know about you, Lee, but I feel like I'm a different person at work. I'm a different person with my friends. I'm a different person with my family. There's like different parts of me that I show to everyone. And it's not to say that any part of that is wrong or any part of that is not me. They all me. They just what I choose to show to different people. If that makes sense.
Absolutely, absolutely. You keep the most intimate, secret, connecting pieces for the people who are really close to you. And your
Yeah.
coworkers, they don't get to know everything about you like your husband does or your friends do. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely relate to that. I'm not gonna go to my boss and say, "What's up, bro?" Pound it. No, we're not doing that.
Absolutely. It's yeah, and I guess like it's kind of maybe you could relate to this as well because of what we spoke about on your episode, but it's kind of sad that with my own family I do have to hold back a lot of who I really am, my true self with them. And that part is difficult and it makes relationships a bit too superficial for me because I don't like superficial relationships. I like to connect with people, you know. And I feel like with my own family, I have to put up a certain border with them. So I'll give you one example. It's gonna go really deep, really deep
All right.
example. But I had a phone conversation with a family member just yesterday actually, and he asked me how's work, and I literally could not tell him anything. Like I could tell him that, about my day job, but there's really nothing much happening there. So I was like, it's fine. But I couldn't tell him anything about my podcast, about my podcasting work, about my business development, about my courses, because a lot of what I'm doing goes against their religion. And so I just
Oh,
can't tell them those things. And he loves to tell me how well he's doing. So he was going on for it, telling me how well he's doing. And at the same time, I have to just act like I'm doing okay and not tell him that I'm kicking ass too, bro.
wow.
Oh,
I
did
like
I
how you
cut out?
put that. Kicking ass too, bro. I heard you though. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that sucks. I mean, like, I know what that feels like too. Just relating to that, like, I can't really share anything. I don't know what it is that they're going through or they're whatever they're not able to receive, but I wish that they were able and open and happy to hear about what's important to me in my life. The same way you do. You want to share what's going on because you obviously light up when you talk about this. You obviously started this for a reason
It's
and you
it's my
obviously want to share it with
passion,
people who
yeah.
are close to you. Yeah.
And you know what? I'm gonna say it, and my friends will like really rile me up when I say this, but I think I'm pretty good at it. And I
Yes.
want to. You want to share that with the people you love. You want to be like, look at this podcast I'm doing, and look at my skills. Look what I put together. Look what I made. You know, it's like your baby. You created this thing, and you want to share it with people. But you can't. I can't
Absolutely.
personally share it with everyone, and it's a bit sad. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's a little disheartening. It's not more than it's more than a little disheartening. It is very disheartening. And I connect with you on that experience too, because like I just can't share what's going on. They don't know that I have a podcast or they don't know really much of anything about what I do with my life. I just say,
Mm.
how are things? We talk about the weather because
Hmm.
everyone can relate to the weather. So we talk about the weather, and that's just
the
pretty much it.
the coronavirus, the lockdown situation.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's a list of things. There's like a small list of things that we tick off, and like, okay, good call.
Hmm.
Speak next
Yeah.
time.
Just,
Not giving them my 5-year plan to dominate my field.
oh, get out of here. Oh, wow.
Fingers crossed.
Of course, 5-year plan. That's a really awesome thing to be able to see in the future. I just kind of, my mood just kind of shifted a bit with that because it's like, it feels like it's not going to change. And that is just all me and my experience with my family showing up here. But man, that 5-year plan to be able to see the future with them and everything else is going to change in your life. You've got this plan to have everything move and get bigger and change, but your relationship with your family is going to stay like this. And
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I honestly don't put a lot of energy into thinking about it.
all right, let's get away from that now. Let's get away.
No, no, I mean in the sense that I feel like if I do spend too much energy on it, then I firmly believe in trying to control the things that you can control and just letting go of the rest. And that is something I learned a long time ago that is not in my control. Um, and I just want to concentrate on, you know, being kick-ass myself, and everyone is happy in their own lives. They're all carrying on, so why shouldn't I be?
Exactly. That makes a whole lot of sense. Why shouldn't you just enjoy what you're doing and keep kicking ass for the next however many years you're going to?
Yeah, however many years I live.
Hopefully a long life. Well,
Hopefully. Hopefully.
yes.
Well, Lee, it has been great speaking to
Yes.
you once again. And I hope more of my listeners would be encouraged when they see this to reach out to me and, book the IGTV lives with me so we can just connect and I can get to know my listeners a little bit more. I just love connecting with people who enjoy the content. So thanks so much for being number one.
All right, number one. Yay. Thank you. I had a really great time chatting with you and learning more about you. And it was just really refreshingly human to have a conversation.
Oh, bless. That's great. And I will speak to you soon, Lee. Keep in touch.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.